This SEC College Football Preview Part 1 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
Hey, this is John Smoltz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Like I've been telling everyone for a little while now, it's only football now. Only football now. Nothing but football from now until September. Football only.
Joining us in studio, we pried him away from the country club. Colby's like, can I bring my clubs? I want to get in a couple rounds. No, Colby, we brought you out here to knock out a bunch of college football conference previews. Joining in studio, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
Hey, these are straight from I think it was somewhere there, Destin, Florida, somewhere in Florida. But I want to let you guys know that here, take these packages.
Thank you. We got some paper.
Well, you know, from 2005 to 2021, we're the best conference.
These are actually college football futures from last year, courtesy of the circuit. Thank you.
No, but this is our SEC strength of schedule. We prefer to play our games on paper. We prefer to play our games on paper. So look, you know, our strength of schedule is just it's so unbelievable. I mean, the fact that Vanderbilt could beat Alabama's proof of it, even though Georgia State, a 3-win team, beat Vanderbilt, and you know, just we haven't played in any national championships the past couple of years. What's going on?
I'm a little confused. Because Colby said we got to do the SEC first.
Yes,
we got to do the best first.
SEC.
We got to do the best first.
SEC.
You said that you had a take that was going to be surprising about automatic bids in the college football playoff. You said more auto bids are better.
What?
Get the best teams in.
Take the buzz out of the regular
auto
season.
Bids. I said auto plays like Vanderbilt over, which I gave out last year, and I believe I had it on the money line against Virginia Tech week 1. Sean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I was on it too. I was on
just
it too.
Another year.
Go back and check the sheets. Kramer was.
We forgot he got pissed on last year. Remember, he got pissed on.
Another year where the season opens with a beautiful, beautiful loss.
The drone strikes couldn't handle the pisser.
I was at that was another Heisman ticket that didn't work out. I was at a beautiful beach house. And families on the beach in the ocean. I'm watching this bullshit game.
I warned you. I warned Alabama. And if their conference is so tough, how can they just take the entire New Mexico State staff and football team and put them in the SEC and watch them beat Auburn and Alabama and piss on Virginia Tech, right?
I do think that I don't appreciate your shit talk right now. I'm back at a place where
sensitive.
Well, no, I'm back at a place where I'm not really interested in Virginia Tech football right now.
Really, you haven't bought in.
They didn't get the donation this year.
They're not getting a fucking donation.
Too much piss on the dollar bills.
Not getting a donation.
They got soaked.
They're spending too much time with this fucking Metallica concert, which by the way looked pretty cool. But I mean, come on, you got to win some games. No, I'm excited to talk about the best conference in the land.
SEC,
former best. Big Ten proved it on the field last year.
Okay,
they proved it on the field. They beat them up. Yeah,
I don't know about that. What field are we talking about? The playoff is a weird concept. It's new to us in the SEC.
Well, in the regular
we're not
season,
used to this.
USC beat LSU and A&M.
We're not used to settling things on the field.
You got your papers, guys.
I was
you
playing
got your papers.
Game, Colby.
All right, I like that.
Explain the joke to people in case they missed it.
Wait, hold on. We got to put the slide up because before we got to pull back the old curtain, expose people to the pre-show production meeting when.
Oh yeah.
Colby said, "Guys, I got it. We can't start
Those
until
are the papers. Those are the
can't
papers.
Start
YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast. If you want to see the SEC logo next to a clip art of papers,
Colby goes, "We cannot start until I give you backstory."
I mean, it was a big story. They're clinging to their 8-game conference schedule. That they play the hardest conference, even though they haven't played for a national championship the past 2 years. They played in the same amount of national championships as the Big 12 since NIL's been legal, actually. So they're clinging to this. They're clinging to this right now, and they're just hoping that they can brainwash everybody by using data, like Brett Bielema, who tweeted this out. Shout out to Brett Bielema. Basically using data from a time where they were the only ones cheating. To make sense of why they're the toughest conference now, even though the whole sport has been flipped upside down in the past 3 or 4 years.
And again, I couldn't agree more. Auto bids are stupid, and I'm glad the SEC fell on their face a little bit, because at some point you do have to have some level of integrity and not ruin it for everyone else in the future. Of course, we don't we don't randomize the teams like Colby over on the College Experience. Which crazy to me that you guys were equipped to use a randomizer. That feels like giving Colby some sort of time travel device. I don't know how that would work out. He's going to go back in time to try to fix things. The next thing you know,
Max got a supercomputer. He's firing off a bunch of simulations.
Well, I figure if Colby has the ticket to go back in time and change something. One day we're just gonna have. We're gonna lose the.
The kickoff rule will be back.
No, I
like. Wait, was there a time traveler?
No, he's gonna go back.
We call that football, Sean.
And all of a sudden, we're not gonna have the wheel anymore.
Oh, wow.
Somehow the wheel is gonna be undone to make college football better.
I've always thought that sitting there on horse and carriage might have been a little cooler than driving on the 405 freeway.
Stupid,
you and your mechanical horse. I have 1 horsepower. It's called a horse.
So we like
Ford Motor Company.
We like the alphabet here, and so we do it alphabetically. These will be 8 teams today: Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, and Mississippi. I know this makes people upset. I'm using the alphabetical order of Mississippi, not Ole Miss.
There was some discussion. Does Ole Miss go under O?
No,
that delayed some of the recording?
Yeah, it did delay it.
Does it go with M or does it go with O?
We need maybe some. Can we maybe get some more like a short behind the scenes video of Picasso at work over here?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I did tweet out a photo that of Colby doing some research earlier over at Gambling Podcast.
I mean, your name is Pick Picasso.
Oh,
like you got Pick Dundee, now you got Pick
Pablo Picasso. I like that.
Dick Pick Dundee was out there for a while.
Oh, wow. Whoa, I'm not aware of
you
that
remember
one.
that some fan made a video. Dick Pick Dundee?
Maybe he just sent that to you, Colby. I don't remember seeing that.
You're the one that showed me it, buddy.
You took it on a flip phone.
Alabama's
Dick
a favorite.
Hopefully it was hopefully it was flattering. So let's hit on one of the favorites, Alabama first.
Okay.
9.5, and I think I have the schedule as well. 9.5 is the win total for the Elephants. Roll Tide -160 to the over, -114 to the under, +480 to win the conference, -158 to make the playoff, +124 to miss, 11-1 to win the Natty. So I do think you have to kind of you have to approach the SEC with the expectation of 3 to 4 playoff teams. So from an odds perspective, looking at the win,
they've been campaigning about that.
Well, of course, but I think it's reasonable to think that the SEC probably ends up with 3 in the playoff. And so looking at these playoff and win conference odds, you got to make some interesting decisions.
It is funny for them to win the SEC is +480 and to make the playoffs is -160.
Well, that's because 3 or 4 teams are going to make it. They are Alabama. I think the expectation is bounce back. I don't know why though. I'm not sure why we expect bounce back other than Alabama.
And DeBoer
Year
gets
2.
Ryan Grubb back. Year 2 also gets Ryan Grubb back. Remember that was his OC that we thought was going to Bama. He went to the Seahawks.
Yeah, Tank got
back.
fired, and now he became available to coach in college again. I guess maybe he's an upgrade. Maybe it was more Michael Penix and 3 NFL wide receivers.
Also, you can say Jalen Milroe didn't really fit into DeBoer's system.
Yeah, no. Does losing Milroe, is that a plus or minus for this Crimson Tide team, Colby?
He was a dog.
I mean, I love his game, but I also could see the point of like DeBoer's history was more based on a traditional passing quarterback.
Yeah,
like Penix was much more of a statue. Jake Haener at Fresno State, much more of a stat. Like so, you go further back.
Very attractive. I don't know if you've seen his NFL pictures. Jake Haener looking very sexy on the Saints. Who, by the way, they're saying
do you think he drives 100 miles an hour?
No, definitely not. They're saying that Spencer Rattler currently the leader in the clubhouse. Interesting.
He's a crafty vet. But what do you think? What do you think of their quarterback this year, Colby?
I'm intrigued to see who ends up. I'm assuming it's Ty Simpson, but
it's not 100%.
It could be Austin Mack. That was a big time recruit. That followed him from Washington to Alabama. I kind of think this team is going to be better than last year's team, though. Just with the production, I think the coaching staff getting intact, and you're another year removed away from the way Saban did things, because I think they did things kind of like DeBoer. I think is much more relaxed. So the culture, just having that two cultures right back to back, I think is a problem. So I do think they're they're going to be a better football team than a year ago. Now, as far as the win total, I just can't get there with the over, because I just think there's too many tough spots here, like at Georgia.
Yeah, well, let's walk through the schedule real quick, because it's not easy for them. Like you said, at Florida State,
Saudi Arabia State. That was just a 2-win team a year ago, but they hit the portal.
Should bounce back.
Yeah, they should bounce back some. But I got Bama winning that game.
The Sheiks are going to be a tough out.
Yeah,
a ULM at home, Wisconsin at home.
They should be 3-0 in my opinion.
Yeah. And then you have a bye week. Then you go at Georgia.
That's where you probably.
Yeah, that's going to be.
And that's a revenge game. Remember, they got Georgia a year ago with that Ryan Williams big touchdown. And then remember, they got pissed on by Pavia. There's a good chance.
Revenge spot at home. Well, I think Pavia might be in trouble.
Well, Pavia is actually 3-0 against Alabama. No, I think 5-0 against Alabama schools because of Jacksonville State. So he's beat Auburn twice. Once at New Mexico State. Once at. So if you watch out, there might be some scattered showers in Tuscaloosa.
Scattered golden showers. Then you got at Missouri, Tennessee at home, at South Carolina. Then they have a bye. Then they have LSU at home
and Oklahoma. And I think a lot of it. I think a lot of my handicap on this, because I could see them going 10-2, but the LSU and Oklahoma seasons being, if they hit, and I'm assuming one of their seasons is going to hit, then that game becomes much more difficult than you think. But both those coaches kind of on the hot seat.
How can Oklahoma be a preseason top 25?
They like to cook the books.
I'm just saying that's absurd.
That does feel ambitious.
That's absurd.
But then after that late bye, you got LSU, Oklahoma at home.
And don't forget the rivalry game against Eastern Illinois.
Throwing the Eastern Illinois game.
Did you get it in this pamphlet? They're straight the schedule. The Eastern Illinois. They say, look at this, chapter 4. Tony Romo played there.
I know
it's a good team.
I know the tricks. The late November spot in the SEC is a great time to show some hospitality to one of these small, poor schools who need some money.
But their strength of schedule.
What's the check that comes with this game, you think?
Probably $1 million. Yeah. But they got the ESPN FPI, so don't worry about it. Their schedule, strength of schedule is super elite. Then at Auburn against Hugh Strip Club Freeze. This is another one that's pivotal, because 3 of their final 4 opponents, the coaches are somewhat on the hot seat.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's warn the audience. Colby predicting the downfall of coaches has been his strong suit. He led us astray numerous times.
Who is he trying to fire last year?
Probably Brian Kelly.
Well,
probably Brent Venables.
You were also trying to fire Pitt's head coach.
Oh, that one is more of a play on. No. Fuck off, because that one is a play on like new athletic director, new school president, and the guy's been there a long time. Normally, those things they choose their own. You know what I mean?
Interesting nuggets about this schedule that, if you want to look at it from a degree of difficulty, both times they are playing teams off a bye. That team is also coming off a bye. Georgia and LSU set their schedule up the same way. My thing is, how much do you believe in the coach? He's had success, short-lived success in West Coast programs that did not come with the Alabama pressure. He's replacing the guy. The guy who replaces the guy usually doesn't last that long. What if this starts poorly?
I don't think he's on the hot seat, but I guess to your point,
they don't like the quarterback position. Like I understand he had a awesome run on a Washington team that we now know had NFL receivers an offensive line of dudes who had played together for multiple years, and a quarterback who got drafted in the top 10.
Well, but the quarterback followed him from Indiana.
I understand that. But the quarterback was still drafted in the top 10.
I'm actually going to change my pick, Sean. Give me the over.
Over.
Wow.
Play my music.
Already. We're just started the college preview.
Here's the reason why. I do think they'll get revenge on pissing Pavia. I got them losing at Georgia, but I'm not very high on Missouri and Tennessee and South Carolina this year. So that's a nice little stretch right there of Vandy, Missouri, Tennessee, and South Carolina. And then the fact that LSU and Oklahoma's at home and we don't even know who's coaching those teams. I think they trip up somewhere else. I think they go 10-2.
Yeah, I'm with Colby. I think they're slightly better than last year. DeBoer year 2, I think should be an upgrade. I think, yeah, they lose at Georgia. Who knows? Maybe they pull that out. And then one other game they slip up, but they're going to be good at home. And I would be surprised if they lose 3 games. So I'll take the over 9.5.
This reminds me of the years following Bear Bryant. 1983, Ray Perkins comes
now
in.
You sound like Colby.
And they go 8-4. People are like, meh, but all right. And then the next year they go 5-6. Real tank year.
Okay. Yeah.
Under.
Well, and I apologize. The chat is correct. I meant Arklahoma. I apologize.
Is Bowser's bullying?
No, that's our thing that we do. It's called Arklahoma ever since they joined the SEC.
Hey, of course, if you haven't signed up already, what are you waiting for? Circa and their ultimate fantasy football giveaway. You could win a trip to Circa, 2-night stay for you and 11 friends at the awesome Circus, Circa Resorts and Casino. Great place. Hook you up with a 5K bar tab. Everyone should be entering the contest. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. You get a 5,000 tab for stadium swim, hotel stay for you and the guys or gals, open bar packages, the limo ride. They got you covered. Of course, great place to host your draft or just get drunk and hang out, watch some games. Promo code SGP15 get you 15% off at all the Circa properties. But enter the contest today and come hang out with us. We're going to be out there July 3rd. We're also going to be out there for contest sign up weekend, August 21st through the 23rd. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa to enter the contest today. And of course, shout out to mybookie.ag. It is your place to get on all the action. We got the NBA finals tipping off live here in a couple of minutes. Of course, college football futures, NFL futures,
CFL kicking tonight.
CFL kicking. Colby, give out the CFL lock for tonight.
What is the current line? Let's see what the current line is right now.
Completely railroaded.
Well, there was some injury news we got.
He's afraid to give
I'm like Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz. You say you're a CFL expert. What is the line on tonight's game?
I'm gonna go with the give me the Eskimos +7 tonight. +7 tonight. That is the play. Edmonton Eskimos +7 against these Alouettes.
They may be listed as the Elks in your book.
MyBookie.ag promo code SGPN 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's apply. MyBookie.ag promo code SGPN.
The commitment to the teams. Great.
Well, I mean, we build this world, guys. They don't do it without us.
Oh,
all right? My boy.
We gotta go big. We gotta go big again.
He's got Sam pulled pork Pittman. He has some Chip Kelly in him. Like fat Chip Kelly looks like a.
This guy played offensive line all his career. He'll punch Chip Kelly right in his fucking face. All right.
Shout out to Arkansas, the baseball team with all-time double blunder. After not only missing an easy double play, straight up little league situation in left field, it just means more in the SEC. Sean, football though, they're coming off a 6-6 season where they went 3-5 in conference. This year, the total is 5.5 +118 to the over, -144 to the under, 150-1 to win the conference. Sean, but only 22-1 to make the playoff. And 600-1 to win the Natty.
Don't forget, Road Rash faces his OC.
We love Bobby Petrino and what that offense can do. It usually does depend on the. Usually does depend. I mean, look at that face. Did you create two?
Do what?
Two slides?
Did you create 2 slides for Arkansas?
Of course.
There's a third too, the regular one. All right.
Make sure you check out the Bobby Petrino motorcycle accident deep dive on Patreon. It was a great episode.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I
actually think, if I'm being honest, I think that's my favorite Patreon we've ever done.
Yeah, no, that was a blast. Make sure you go back and check that one out.
So, yeah, this is a team that I think, again, low win total, probably want to look to find a reason to get behind them. Can they do what they did last year? Probably dependent on the quarterback and the schedule. What do you think, Colby?
I like another year of Petrino with Taylon Green, the transfer from Boise. I just think they've been wanting to fire Sam Pittman.
Yeah, it was supposed to happen last year.
He's a decent coach. He's a decent coach.
That was one of the guys.
Well, because he won. Remember, they stormed the field against Tennessee. They won.
Son of a bitch.
Like, I think he's a good coach.
And they're dying to get Petrino back in.
They are. And look, the fans gave him a standing O at the fucking basketball game. But I just think this team is going to be better than what they're dying for a 5-7 season to fire Pittman. But the guy's a solid coach. He comes from Kirby Smart's school of coaching there, and I think you look at their schedule with the quarterback another year in Petrino's system, Road Rash's face system there. But they get Alabama A&M, which is absolutely terrible. Arkansas State, which, by the way, shout out to putting this game on the schedule. There used to be a state law that these two teams could not play.
Why?
State
right?
law?
And
Did Bill Clinton put that in?
Well, that sounds like one of them laws from the old
this is
times.
the first time they're ever playing, and they've been playing for like 120 years.
There was a law that they couldn't play.
There was you know who told me about this? I had no idea. Chase Sessoms.
Really? That he was an Arkansas guy.
Yeah. Then
Wow, that's shocking.
yeah. Then they're at Ole Miss, at Memphis.
Back-to-back road games.
They're
Don't
gonna
like
be
that.
3-1 right there.
How's
they're
Memphis?
Gonna be 3-1.
How's Memphis going to be this year?
No, they lost a lot of production. They'll still be solid because they're in Memphis and there's so much talent in that city. But
I know you like the Liberty Bowl.
Oh, it's a great stadium.
By the way, I was noticing as we were doing that circa read, it did kind of look like they were using a either a UFL or USFL game, but it kind of looked like a Showboat Stallions game on that on the big screen at Stadium Swim. I don't know. Next time it comes up, we'll have to do some commentary. That start actually kind of scares me.
Back-to-back road games and then Notre Dame.
But Notre Dame normally drops a game every September. Marshall, Northern Illinois, Stanford. I guess Stanford wasn't in September, but the other two were.
Okay, then they get a bye. Then at Tennessee, Texas A&M at home, Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home.
I mean, getting Mississippi State at home is a great thing for the schedule.
Yeah. Then they're off. Then you get at LSU, at Texas. Oh my God. Missouri at home.
All they got to do is get to 6. All right. Alabama A&M 1, Arkansas State 2, Memphis 3.
Okay.
Auburn 4,
Okay.
Mississippi State 5, Missouri 6.
Yeah. Are they going to win any road games?
Probably not. But if they could. This
is why these are tough.
They could be. I mean, they beat Tennessee last year, but that was in Fayetteville. They could get Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky at home last year.
They really could lose this Notre Dame game. Notre Dame
You mean win?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Notre Dame has a Miami by Texas A&M start, and then it's Purdue at Arkansas, Boise. Very interesting. Their schedule is quite interesting. I would say you need to get how many wins do you have to get before the bye? 3
at least.
Yeah.
3, and
they're gonna
good,
get
right?
3. They're gonna get 3.
3 and you're good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
6
I'll take the over. I want to be rooting for this Arkansas team, and they could. And Pittman has a history of upsets. Like, I mean, they have a good offensive line,
and we joke around. Yeah, that's his forte because of O-line, and I feel like Bobby Petrino. Say what you want about him, he's a good offensive coordinator. Like, he'll get.
And I wanted to go woo pig suey.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they win their conference home games.
All right, so we're all in the over 5.5.
Let's go.
Yeah, they win their conference home games and they beat Memphis or Notre Dame. That's my story. Sticking to it. Auburn, which, I mean, we were talking about the documentary that featured Bo Jackson, Frank Thomas, and Charles Barkley, who Auburn's been paying people for a long time.
Charles Barkley just said that the other day. Because you know how many
That's
times I mean. Writing checks for them under the table.
They got to check Chuck. Less words, man. 7.5
keeps it real, Ryan.
Well, no, I like that. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun when he's on. Is he going to be on ESPN? That's going to be electric. 7.5 is the win total this year, coming off a 5-7 year and 6-6 the year before that. So a lot of optimism here.
He's on the hot seat.
Past performance -158 to the over at this tall number, +128 to the under, 20-1 to win the conference, +390 to make the playoff, -520 to miss. This is the first playoff bet I'm intrigued by. -520 might be in the Dub Club. 48-1 is the national championship price. What have they imported here?
They've been spending a lot.
Just some like Middle Eastern.
They've been spending a lot.
Still though, it's okay. Tell me more. Sell me on this.
They got Hugh Strip Club Freeze. It's a make or break year for him. You remember him? He coached from a hospital bed. And you remember this?
How is this happening?
You remember this? Now.
Is this why we started?
Now they got housed by Syracuse, but he was coaching.
The photo is him giving a thumbs up after they're down 24.
And then ESPN interviews him while he's there.
He looks so drunk.
He's holding his reading glasses upside down. They put
wild.
like a catheter in.
That is
He's probably
wild.
all pilled up.
Yeah, just you gotta love the SEC coaches. All right, you just got to.
The commitment to the game. Auburn dead last in turnover differential. Now, if you believe in regression to the mean, they were -9 turnover. If that breaks a little bit right for them, then you could make a case. They certainly
wish that was a bigger number.
Well, they were dead last by
yeah.
I mean, compared to Mississippi, which was +10. And then you look at what were they? Number 4 in yards per game at +62. So they have some indicators historically of getting better.
I mean, like they've built for this. Like if the question is Jackson Arnold capable of hitting it for him or Ashton Daniels? They brought in all these quarterbacks in the portal that haven't been great elsewhere. But if that hits, the receiver room's incredible. The defense was pretty solid. They lost a lot of close games over the past couple of years.
I just don't. 8 wins is a lot. I think
that's what I thought, man. And especially you look at the schedule. If we could load that thing up there.
Yeah, sorry, I was just glancing at last year's schedule to see like is this a team that was kind of not. I mean, like that A&M, that late A&M shootout probably left a finer taste in people's mouth than should.
At Baylor. Not easy.
I mean, that's such a pivotal game. That might be like it's not the sexiest game week 1 because you get Ohio State, Texas, and LSU, Clemson, and Florida State, Bama. But that one might actually be the biggest game of the whole week 1 because both teams' expectations are way beyond what they've recently done.
Quick question: don't teams usually do homecoming a little later in the year? Doing homecoming against South Alabama. Well,
that's because they want to do it for a win.
I know that's very.
You throw it later in the year. They haven't been winning lately. Under Strip Club Freeze.
How do you have time to nominate a king and queen? There's no time to politic.
So at Baylor, Ball State at home, South Alabama at home, at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M.
Golly.
Yeah, like me personally.
Watch your language, Ryan.
Golly.
They got to get that Baylor game. If not, I think they're going to be 2-3.
Hotty toddy.
But I took Baylor on the Baylor preview. Maybe they get Oklahoma. Alert. Oklahoma's kind of all over the place. I'm talking.
Then you have the bye
on my show.
Oh no, I know the amount of times that you're going to contradict yourself is going to be great.
Then we have so they have the bye. Then Georgia at home, Missouri at home, at Arkansas, Kentucky at home, at Vandy. Then a bye.
I mean, they lost to Vandy last year at home.
Not what I mean. Wait. Diego Pavia not only beat him at home last year, he beat him at New Mexico State the year before.
Yeah, he's got their number. Then Mercer at home, fine. Then the Iron Bowl at home at least.
And he beat Hugh Freeze at Liberty the year before that, so he's 3-0 against Hugh Freeze.
That's crazy.
I mean,
where are the wins here? Where are
well, they got that big game against Mercer.
The Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Is brutal. I think even at Arkansas, you might be able to trip up. Vandy's not going to go down easy. Well, Alabama, maybe, but I don't know.
What do you got there?
Oh,
it's wins on paper.
All right,
the wins on paper. Ball State.
Well, let's
Ball
seriously
State, great football school. So Letterman's.
I'm on the under.
They lose. All right, so they lost at home to Oklahoma. They have to play them on the road this year. They catch Georgia again. Obviously, they lost at Missouri. They get them at home. Maybe they can do better. The Vanderbilt we already talked about. That Texas A&M game was a wild ass shootout. That was at home. I just don't. I see nothing on this schedule that makes me think they can get Missouri and Kentucky at home, and obviously Mercer sneaking in there.
I mean, I honestly have them like at 7-5, but
6
that
wins
Baylor game is so huge to me.
6 or 7 wins is more realistic. Why is this number so high?
And the juice is minus 160 on the over. I'm on the under.
Maybe I typoed it.
Okay. Under 7.5 for everyone. Is anyone taking the over on Auburn?
No.
Yeah.
You can't go from being a 5-6 win team to need to win 8 games and have Hugh. I mean, yeah, the coach that we barely even talked about the coaching other than showing those fabulous pictures. Easy guy to fade. Florida. Next up on the docket. I gotta get through these pictures.
Coley's bonus slides are great.
There is a I was thinking about Florida earlier today. I pulled up some Anthony Richardson highlights just to like, where did we get this wrong? Florida's is there a more overrated football program in the last 15 years than Florida? Why do we have to keep being told that the Swamp is a tough place to play? Florida's a good team. Every coach that goes there fails. They had a great season by their standards at 7-5 last year, 4-4 in conference. They should be grateful to have seasons like that moving forward. 7.5 this year, plus 122 to the over, minus 150 to the under, 20-1 for the conference, 440 for the playoff, minus 650 to miss. I might have to do a SEC miss playoff parlay, Sean, out at the circle.
Wow,
46 to we're getting so many no prices.
Yeah,
46-1 to win the Natty. I understand there's some optimism around the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean he's getting a ton of hype, and I mean the guy was a big time recruit, so he's pretty talented. But I still think,
right?
Yeah, DJ Lagway.
Well, he had a nice run there towards the end of the season.
Well, but some of that we thought that was like the hardest schedule ever, and it was still a hard schedule. Don't get me wrong, but like Florida State ended up being a dud. They won 2 games all year, right? Mississippi State was a dud. Kentucky was a dud. Some people thought Kentucky would be a bowl team.
They didn't play anyone.
It wasn't it was a tough schedule. Like they had that stretch.
The Ole
of
Miss win was a nice win.
Yeah, they had that stretch of like Georgia. I think it was like Georgia, Texas, and LSU all in a row. But I'm
just saying, but the only win in that stretch that they got that's impressive is the Ole Miss win. So
true. And they're on the schedule this year, and they got to go to Oxford in a revenge game.
Their SEC schedule is pretty tough, and I think that's probably going to be the difference. Their conference schedule is not easy.
Oh, even the non-con, I'll give them some credit. Like if Florida State rebounds the way Florida State should,
playing the Sharks,
you get Miami and Florida State in the non-con. You get the fucking Long Island Sharks, baby, and then South Florida.
Do you see that, Colby? They have they play the Sharks, and after that the Bulls, and of course a bull shark. Very fierce shark. And then after that, the Tigers and Tiger Shark, another fierce shark, and then it's the Hurricane.
And look at
the theme here.
I like that.
All deadly.
And what I appreciate is the regionality. They play Florida State out of Tallahassee, Miami out of Miami, South Florida out of Tampa, and Long Island. Half of Long Island's in Florida, so it works out. All right.
Yeah. Is that going to be a home game for Long Island?
Sharks.
Those northern Sharks.
LIU. So the Sharks opening week, then South Florida Bulls, then at LSU, at Miami. Then you're off. Then you got Texas at home, at Texas A&M.
I got them dropping both those.
Yeah, Mississippi State at home, which that's a win. But then you got Georgia at home, which you're almost wasting.
No, that's in Jacksonville. But sorry, it's the world's biggest cocktail party. But
the cocktail party. So, then at Kentucky, at Ole Miss. So you have 2 back-to-back road games on the schedule. Then you have Tennessee at home, Florida State at home.
That is a really hard schedule, but. This one is legit. Their papers are legit for this one, even though Long Island's on the schedule.
They're paying Long Island $525K. South Florida getting $500K.
Yeah. There's a couple guaranteed no-show jobs in the LIU Sharks game. Couple teamsters getting paid to drive the equipment down. So everyone's getting a taste.
I'm on the under, guys.
How do they get to 8 wins?
Now, and another thing is you got to remember Napier could be fired at any point. They thought,
is he even a good coach?
Colby is a massive hot seat. It's great.
Well, he's doing it again. He's putting all these people.
No, but I'm with you, Colby. Like under 7.5. But it's much easier for them to get. Yeah, like the 5 losses are pretty evident on this.
There's certain programs where if the coach gets fired midseason, they quit.
Yeah,
and I feel like we've seen Florida do this before under Mullen or under
why is Billy Napier a good coach?
He was on Saban's staff at one point. That's why.
That's my point. Like, what has he done? He's had his chance. He's at Florida.
He was good at Louisiana.
He's at Florida at a time where the other fucking Florida schools sucked for the most part.
Yeah.
And he's in the best conference. He's in the best position of those schools and has done nothing with it. Smash the under.
Oh, I feel good about the under too.
Chomp, motherfucker. By the way, did you see the video of that gator walking all the way upright in the golf course the other day?
No,
I did.
Sean, it looked like a fucking dinosaur. I mean, the craziest part is the guy filming is like driving up to this thing. It's like 10
look
feet
at
long.
This fucking thing.
10 feet long. Crazy motherfucker.
No, I mean, I think Lagway, first off, yeah, he played good down the stretch when Mertz got injured, but at the same time, there is a thing called the sophomore slump. When you play this many good teams too.
Like, no, there's also the thing called you're replacing Graham Mertz and he fucking sucks too.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a little bump there no matter what you are.
I got him Long Island, South Florida, Mississippi State. That's 3.
They get the pay wins.
Kentucky 4, Tennessee 5, Florida State 6. I got him 6 and 6.
The problem
then
is
you would need 2 more other wins, and
I'm giving them like at Kentucky. Stoops has actually kind of fucked with them over the years.
Their home games are impossible.
I gave them Florida State.
The problem is their home games are fucking hard.
Yeah, even Long Island, right?
Well, they might drop that one. I will say kudos to them for not scheduling the late Long Island in late November. That would be a benefit.
That is
to
true.
The Sharks out there. All right, let's move along to. Do we have more? Oh, the classic Ugga wearing the. I feel like this is the classic Georgia black and red as well. 9.5 wins for what probably has been the best college football team in the land for a little bit here with Kirby. 12-0 season back in 2023. Lost 2 whole games last year. Sean still won 10. The number's 9.5 this year. Got to pay some juice with -154 to the over, plus 126 to the under, 310 to win the conference, -260 to make the playoff. They're actually 2-1, Sean, plus 205 to miss the playoff, 6-1 to win the Natty.
And remember, he was bitching last year about his schedule, so they gifted him a great schedule.
Is that what happened?
They have a very good schedule. They only have 3 true road games in conference.
Well, the Georgia Tech game's a disgrace. It's an absolute fucking disgrace. They're playing that at Mercedes-Benz. Georgia Tech gave away their home game.
And they have
how much money did it take to give away their home game?
Georgia hasn't had a home loss in 5 years.
Georgia Tech should have beat them last year in 7 overtimes or whatever that was.
When did they get rid of the East and West?
Last year.
Yeah, so a little bit. Those are tricky because Georgia dominated that side, and so. It's a little bit stuffing the ballot box, but I'm with you. Very good home edge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, walk through their schedule. Marshall at home.
Win.
Yes. Austin P at home.
The Governors?
Yes. At Tennessee. Yes. Then Alabama at home. Probably.
I think they're going to win that. I got them 4-0.
Kentucky at home. Yes. At Auburn.
A little tricky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ole Miss at home. Yes.
Win.
Florida in Jacksonville.
They kind of own Florida, so I'm not buying that being tricky.
At Mississippi State, yes.
Win.
Texas at home.
They swept Texas last year twice.
Charlotte 49ers. I think they got a chance.
I'm all over the over.
They might lose in the neutral against Georgia Tech
because that's supposed to be a Bobby Dodd. Yeah. That's such a fuck up for Georgia Tech. We just did a Georgia Tech preview on the college football experience. That could be so pivotal to Georgia Tech making the playoff, and you move that game from on campus to a stadium that's massive, way bigger than their normal stadium.
It's going to be 50-50.
And it's going to bring in so many Georgia fans. 50-50. Yeah. It's such a fuck up. It's like, oh yeah, they gave us, an extra 20 grand, but you could have made $1 million if you make the fucking playoffs. Like,
yeah. So they have 3
very short sighted.
Tripping on a nickel to make $1.
They have 3 road games. I think that
they win their home games. So
they play 2 neutral site. They have 3 road games.
Yeah,
3 true road games.
And one of them is against the worst team in the conference.
They can lose 2 of those road games and still hit the over. What? Like this is
they're not even going to lose 2 of those. Like,
over.
They have Tennessee's number. Like
I was going to say they got Mississippi State as one of the road games.
Yeah, that's the worst team in the conference. Yeah,
it is a beautiful, pristine schedule that they're going to dominate.
It's a lock.
Yeah.
And I would take the juice is showing at like -150. I would take over 10.5. I don't think they're losing 2 games.
I would too.
By the way, it seems like the going rate to come and play Georgia for these small schools is about $500K, but this is pretty wild. Marshall is getting 1.7 million. So obviously the better you are, the more you can get, I guess. But that's 3x what we've been seeing. So shout out to Marshall for the good negotiating. Are you guys going to be looking at the futures here? Because it does a little bit. It feels like we're getting a ridiculously good price on Georgia to win the conference.
You're gonna. It sounds chalky as hell and dumb, but when they're in the conference championship game, you're gonna be glad.
And where do they play that conference championship?
Yeah, Georgia,
Atlanta, the same stadium they played Georgia Tech in.
Chick-fil-A will be open.
Yeah, on Saturdays.
Yep.
I kind of wanted to really quickly bring up what was their price last year to win the conference? Do you think?
They were still the favorite, right? I think they were the favorite.
What do you think that price was last year?
180.
Coming off an undefeated season, yeah, 190.
Okay.
And so now we get 310.
Yeah.
Just because of a little variance last year and a guy named Arch Manning. All right. Moving on. Which, by the way, this is my favorite Georgia logo for the record. This Kentucky logo, again, something I've never seen before in my life.
Really? In the 80s.
I'm around sports.
It's like a cat that went through a dryer.
I'm around a lot of sports. Never seen this guy before. Kentucky, we've talked a lot about the Stoops contract extension for a long time. 2023 hit that mark, but last year, 2024, he didn't get there. He didn't get to the contract extension point. Only 4 wins. 4.5 is the win total this year. -114 to the over, -106 to the under. 300 to 1 to win the conference. That's double.
Don't let him get hot.
35 to 1 to make the playoff, and 1,000 to 1 to win the conference championship. I do think some of the more interesting bets you can make is a lower SEC team, a long shot SEC team to make the playoff, because you can get in without playing in the conference championship game.
Yeah.
And that is like, for a long shot, that's great. You don't have to worry about that, prove it last game. And I think I'm not doing it with Kentucky. I'm just conceptually, I think that's the way to look at that kind of stuff. But what's the future for this Kentucky team? Is it
only 8 returning starters? No, 2-12 their last 14 SEC home games.
Yeah, and this is one where you talked about the East Division disappearing.
Yeah, it's not good for the bottom of it.
But at the same time, I think it's a Stoops last year at Kentucky. But I also think he can go 5-7.
Another coach has been fired. How many coaches have we fired already?
Colby's cleaning house.
I didn't fire Pittman. They wanted Pittman fired. I said he's too good of a coach.
Right, but pause. Yeah. So Arkansas, Auburn, and Florida and Kentucky. So 4 of the 6 teams you've suggested fired coaches.
So no. This is like a big thing. I think this upcoming year will be the craziest coaching cycle in my lifetime, because they all kept them back because they knew they had that payment to all the players on July 1st for $20 million. So next year, I think USC could open, LSU could open, Florida could open. Michigan could open. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch that could really open up.
So do we sound the alarm here and play the alt unders?
No, I'm taking the over, actually.
Wait,
really?
What?
Yeah.
Let's walk through the schedule.
But I think he's still going to get fired. I think he's going to go 5-7. Yeah. He's going to go 5-7.
Sean, what's he doing?
Yeah, he's zigging and zagging.
But I think he's a good football coach. It's just
but their schedule's very tough. But to Colby's point,
they beat Ole Miss last year in Oxford.
So okay,
their first 3 games are home to Toledo, home to Ole Miss, home to Eastern Michigan.
They got to go 3-0 there, right?
Even if they go 2-1, I think they could potentially get South Carolina. South Carolina lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
Right?
At Georgia,
that's
you like Georgia there,
yeah,
right?
that's
Wait,
a loss.
who's South Carolina's quarterback?
Lenora Sellers.
Isn't he a potential Heisman, like
True,
top first round pick?
But they lost a bunch of their defense, dude. Yeah.
Beamer's
well, their D line was their strength, and we'll talk about it because the D line's fallen off, right, Colby?
A lot. The defense took a major hit. At Georgia's a loss. Okay, you get another bye week. You get Texas at home, but they did play Texas well last year. But that's a loss.
They're gonna lose.
Tennessee they could beat. Tennessee loses Nico to UCLA. Who knows what Tennessee is going to be this year, right?
That kid, what a retard.
At Auburn, strip club freeze.
Yeah,
I'll take Auburn, but I mean, I don't feel amazing about it. Home to Florida. He's had a knack for beating Florida, right? The past 5 years, I feel like he's played
both
well.
Coaches could be fired there.
Tennessee Tech.
The Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech.
Don't let they keep a good program.
Shout out to GBO Farms. At Vanderbilt and at Louisville.
No way.
Yeah,
no
those
way.
are losses right there. But
yeah, 5 is tough, Colby.
I got him at 5. Ready?
So they start 2-1 the first 3 games.
I got an upset. I got to either take it Ole Miss or South Carolina. And
Okay, so
yeah.
So first 4 games you have them 3-1.
And then I got
where are the other 2?
Tennessee Tech.
Okay, 4.
Yeah, that's fine.
Florida.
They just haven't done well at home in conference.
So yeah, I'm with you. I think 3 wins is in the bag, but for them to get 2 conference wins, no, that's not happening. Well, I guess they could beat Louisville. Louisville. It seems unlikely. Under
5 and 7.
All right,
5.
I'll take the over with Colby, but it's gonna be we're gonna be white knuckling this. Colby.
I don't see like a 6 or 7 win season. So like I think 5 and 7, like we're threading the needle.
Yeah, no, I'm not locking this one up. You know what I am locking up for great pick'em and chance to win millions of dollars playing fantasy football? Underdog Fantasy. Of course, you can play a season long college football pick'em, higher, lower, weekly college football, higher, lower pick'em. Cannot wait till those numbers pop up for week 0. We're going to be out at the Circa week 0. Come say hi, sign up for the contest there. And of course, Underdog Fantasy, you get the deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Best ball. It is a great platform to play on. Kramer and I do the live drafts, $25 entry fee. So imagine you got 40 free chances. If you sign up, you max out the bonus, 40 free shots to win $2 million the first, $1 million the second. Underdog Fantasy. Love it. Great platform. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is your place to go. AI back picks, props, dog days of summer here. You got the MLB, WNBA props are dropping soon. There are so many ways to win using AIs. Or using Rhythm's power trends, AI backed picks and props. You get the 7-day free trial, get you started, start building your own models. And it's good to have the data with the gut handicapping. It's a perfect combo. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get you a 7-day free trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Anyone want to guess on, I know we're moving along to LSU, but anyone want to guess on the Mark Stoops buyout?
Ooh,
25 million,
10 million.
It's crazy. It's only at 4 million. He's
really?
definitely gone.
No, I don't think so.
Right? I'm looking at a article from October 20th, 2024. So seems like the brunt of the buyout wore off after the first couple of years, and I guess something to do with him not hitting his clause last year caused the buyout to go down by $500,000. Which is funny. He's got the escalator and the I guess it's an escalator. It goes both ways though. Goes down and up. Next up, shout out to the Tigers, we Tigers, as they will be representing.
The cat sound effect works for so many of these
it really
teams.
does. They will. I mean, the SEC loves their cats. They will be representing the SEC against the Chanticleers. I was listening, Coach. He got very upset at the media for saying Chanticleers. It's Chanticleers. LSU, the Tigers, 9-3 last year. Oh no, that's not right. What just happened?
They were 8-4 last year.
I know what just happened. Whatever I was. I'm looking at. I'm literally looking at last year's sheet. I went to go look something up. 8-4 last year, 9-3 the year before that. 8.5 is the win total this year. -130 to the over, +106 to the under, +750 to win the conference, 138 to make the playoff, -172 to miss, 17-1 to win the Natty. A lot of excitement about the quarterback situation down here. Colby, when LSU is at their peak, they're as good as anyone in the nation, and it seems like they have some talent on this roster.
Yeah, and Brian Kelly's talking shit, which is, well,
that's the part that holds me back with this team.
Well, I mean, that's the thing in Brian Kelly in general, wherever he's been at, he has yet to really win the huge games.
They're such an interesting team from a win total perspective, right? Because it's like they're always going to be a good team, a Brian Kelly coach team, but they're always gonna whiff on a couple of games or games that, like, when you're going through the schedule ahead of time, you're like, oh, that's a win, but they'll inevitably fuck them up.
Is this year 3?
Year 3. He's 10-4, 10-3, 9-4. With some bowl games in there.
Wait,
but
so year 4 then, right?
Yeah, year 4.
Brian Kelly's family.
Jesus, really?
Last year was the first year he didn't have double-digit wins. You got to go back to 2016 Notre Dame, where he was 4-8.
Well, I mean, look, guys, I think he'll be back next year, but this is another one.
What do you mean? If he might get
they fired Orgeron, won a national championship in 19.
Orgeron also was in some extracurricular activities.
He was.
Yeah, well, Brian Kelly's faking
talking
accents,
to a senator's wife at the gas station while
to
she was pregnant. I mean, I think that
I'm just saying he won a national championship, and what, like 2 years later, he's fired.
Yeah,
that's true.
They have crazy expectations there, and rightfully so. They've been very successful. But this is a tough schedule, man. I have a hard time. Like I've kind of like, wow, he's talking that much shit, which makes me want to think to take the over. But I will say, like, you could easily paint yourself 4 losses. I'm like, at Clemson, I actually think Clemson will win that game. Then I'm like, Florida.
Okay. Yeah. At Clemson,
Louisiana Tech's terrible. But then Florida, those games are always wild, but I would take LSU to win that. Southeast Louisiana, they'll win that. So they could be 4-1 if they, or 4-0 if they beat Clemson.
Are we worried Ole Miss? I guess we'll get to them shortly, but I feel like a lot of the teams we've talked about already, Ole Miss being good or bad is impactful on how that team finishes. Ole Miss, of course, without all-world superstar quarterback Jackson Dart. Are we at all worried that Lane Kiffin breaking in a new quarterback could be a problem?
Yeah, we're going to talk about them in a second, but yeah, look, I got LSU 4-1 at the first bye week.
So you have LSU winning at Ole Miss, or you have them sweeping up until that?
I think they win at Ole Miss. I think they lose at Clemson.
I don't know. There's have you seen any of the media with Lane so far with Kiffin?
I heard him talk about like the playoff. What they
he just seems like he's like matured or something.
Did he get back with his wife?
It just makes me feel like he's poised to have a big year.
I thought I saw some social thing about that.
All right. So I mean, I'm kind of leaning more like this is like a 3-2, 4-1 stretch.
Lean alert. Please bleep that.
They lose one of the road games in the bookends at least. Then off the bye they have South Carolina at Vanderbilt and then A&M coming to town. Certainly some winnable home. I mean, they're going to
lose to A&M though. I mean, that's tricky. I'm gonna give them a second loss.
Are those night games? They appear to both be potentially night games.
They'll get Vandy, right? And even in Vandy,
I mean, Vandy's good though, dude. Like they're not a bad team. They return a lot of production.
I think so. Let's just look at their road games: at Clemson, at Ole Miss, at Vandy, at Alabama, at Oklahoma. I don't know. I'm struggling getting them to 4 losses. I think they're.
I can get you 4 losses. I'm going to take the over and say 9-3. But like, they could lose to Clemson. They could lose to Ole Miss. They could lose to Vandy or A&M. They could lose to Alabama. And if Oklahoma hits like some people think, they could definitely lose that game.
Yeah, I'm take the over. Brian Kelly has a pretty high floor and but the ceiling is just above it. Like he's just always going to be in this 9 to 10, like 9 to 11 win range. But I don't like him to do anything in the playoff. So I will. I'm with Colby. I'll take the over 8.5. I think 9-3 is.
Isn't there a world where like this is like a Joe Burrow type season for the quarterback, and they have like an incredible offense?
Yeah, but I just don't. Those teams that you saw back then were with the old system. I don't think you'll see that dominant of a college football team ever again.
I mean, I think I'm just set on the idea that LSU will not have a great defense like they did back then, but I do think they could have. I mean, he has the potential.
I think
Nussmeier has the potential to earn himself the #1 pick overall.
And I would say, I think their defense is better. And Wes in the chat saying best team Kelly has put together since he has been at LSU.
I mean, look,
I think they're
and 9-3. I have one of the losses to Clemson. So they'll be in the SEC championship probably pending tiebreaker.
That might be an interesting.
It might be
plus 750.
Look, we put Georgia in there, and I know I pretty much put Bama there. That Alabama game might be to get to the SEC championship. But the question is, do you even want to get to the SEC championship? Because a week off and you making the playoffs.
No, the whole thing with the conference championship games and how it impacts the playoffs is just stupid.
See, with this LSU team, there's so many times in their schedule where it's like. As much as I hate Brian Kelly, I like him more than this coach, or I like the fact that the continuity of the LSU team. Yeah, I'll go over, and I would say actually that this might be my first real look at a playoff position.
Oh, so you're in? Okay, over 8.5.
I hate that I'm on a Brian Kelly position.
Why? He's good on the.
He's so horrible.
But what do you mean? I bet his record against the win total.
The person. Okay. The accent thing really rubbed me the wrong.
He's never been able to recover.
It's so.
How great was it that he shit on Notre Dame, saying, "Yeah, you can't win a national championship at Notre Dame."
Oh, wow.
So I went to LSU, and Notre Dame goes to a national championship before LSU.
I know. I think that's why.
Well, he was right. You couldn't win.
Still, they got there before LSU.
Yeah, but they didn't win, did they?
No, they did not. All right. Let's wrap up the first part of the SEC.
Part 1.
Again, we'll be breaking down all the major conferences in 2-part series. And then Colby has forced our hand. He said, if I'm coming out there, we're talking about all the conferences.
Let's go.
Sean, we're even doing a Pac-2 in Independence.
Oh, that'll be fun.
We are the sport gambling podcast, so we should.
Last team today. Let's hop over to the Mississippi / Ole Miss Rebels. Colby using the most inflammatory of their logos, what can only be some sort of human trade auctioneer.
He just wants a glass of tea.
Yeah, I think so. Because he's tired from selling all those humans. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, things going pretty well from the last couple years, going to combine 19-5, 8.5. He's got to be a little sad. Saban's no longer in the conference. 8.5 is the win total this year. -172 to the over, +140 to the under. 13-1 is the conference price. +142 make, -176 miss. 28-1 is the championship price. Colby, who's the new quarterback that's replacing superstar all-world gunslinger Jackson Dart?
Have you noticed that I remember doing the pre-episode for the NFL draft, Sean, and he was out on Jackson Dart.
That's not true.
Really? When did you praise Jackson Dart? And now he's in.
Well, 100%. I was telling Sean on the sports gambling podcast when we were talking NFL that Jackson Dart was 100% in the crosshairs of Brian Dable. 2, I never said anything bad about Jackson Dart. I agree with you.
Didn't say anything positive.
No, I'm
gonna have to dig into the tapes.
Please do. It concerns me that he comes from a Lane Kiffin offense. I think that's an obvious take to have, and I'm not gonna ignore that
because.
I am going to see what Adam Schefter reports, which is he's having a great spring. I'm gonna see that. I'm gonna see that he's taken over the number 2 role for Jameis already past Jameis.
There's a clip on that soundboard of me quoting you, but they don't know that I'm quoting you, of Blake Bortles. You saying Blake Bortles is better than Dak Prescott. I think Blake Bortles is better than Dak Prescott.
Colby, that was one of your hotter takes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still believe Blake Bortles is better than Dak Prescott.
Not wrong.
I don't know if you saw this, Cole, because you're not dialed into the NFL, but Dak Prescott's football coach this year said that he's currently in a developmental phase.
Yeah.
sexually.
No, like he's learning to throw the football.
Had some nocturnal emissions.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, Ole Miss, their quarterback. I think it's going to be Austin Simmons that he's raved about.
Yeah.
And
first year though, scary.
Yeah, but the schedule I don't know what it is. The past couple of years, Ole Miss has had just a cakewalk schedule, in my opinion. Like last year, I feel like their non-con was like Wake Forest and 3 scrubs. So when I look at the schedule, I'm like, okay, I mean, yes, you can build.
To me, I almost, sorry to interrupt, but like for me, it's almost, if I'm over on LSU, Georgia, and Alabama, I almost have to be under on Ole Miss, right? Like, cause
they only play what? They played Georgia and LSU. Those are like the 2 losses.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. That's actually what makes it interesting. Is a lot of these teams with the higher numbers seem to not run into each other as much. To Colby's,
it's almost like they're orchestrating, like increasing their chances.
They want to make it
schedule manipulation, right?
And like the idea that we have
chapter 4,
and the fact that we have to look at a Florida Gators team with a preseason top 25 ranking, Oklahoma with a preseason top. This is just insulting to the idea of football.
They have 4 road games, and 2 of them are against trash teams, Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Now they lost to Kentucky last year, which is why they shouldn't have been in the playoffs, because they were 17-point favorites at home, and you lost to a shitty Kentucky team.
I think this team is like. I think there are like the back-to-back road spot in the middle of the season is probably 1 or 2 losses, depending on what Oklahoma. Yeah. I have a hard time. I have a hard time seeing
the rest.
I have a hard time seeing Oklahoma as this great team, considering what has and hasn't changed. But I also, at this point, I think you have to respect Lane Kiffin for kind of a lot of the things you say about Brian Kelly. Like he knows how to organize a program. He's going to be able to move the ball.
Just can't win the big game.
He's going to be able to win, and he's going to be able to beat most of his conference.
He does have a really high floor, but limited ceiling.
Because this is where the recruit, like they are bringing in top talent.
Yeah.
They have good recruiting classes
year
after year.
They're spending. They went all in last
year. But that's why it's easy. This is why there's a direct correlation. You spend money, you win. So let's.
All right. Yeah. Real quick walk through the schedule. Georgia State at home, at Kentucky, Arkansas at home, Tulane at home, LSU at home.
I mean, only one road game by October 18th.
And then you get a bye. Then you get Washington State.
Is that in here? Is that in here?
Yeah, that's. I
mean,
in there somewhere.
Now, so the half your season.
Citadel. What page is Citadel on?
Citadel. That's chapter 6. Citadel. Stump Mitchell went there. Watch out.
At Georgia, at Oklahoma, back to back. That obviously is a super tough stretch.
True, and I have them losing both those. And here's what's crazy: they can afford to lose those games.
Yeah.
Then South Carolina at home.
They only need 9.
Citadel at home.
This
Florida
is gonna
at home.
This is gonna hit. Give me the over.
Mississippi State at home. Yeah. No, I in my head, I thought they had Alabama. At some
check this out. If you had to ask
3 losable
any coach in college football, if they're coaching in the SEC,
yeah.
Who do you want on the schedule within your conference? You want Arkansas. You want Mississippi State. You want Kentucky. You want South Carolina. They got them all. Over.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And who do they miss, Colby? Who do they not play?
They don't play Texas. They don't play Texas A&M.
They only play Georgia.
They don't play Alabama. Yeah, they miss pretty much every good team in the conference.
Ole Miss will be the line on the Ole Miss LSU game too that we were talking about earlier. Ole Miss laying 1.5. Will they be underdogs in a single game outside of Georgia? Maybe Oklahoma,
but Oklahoma could be a train wreck too. Bless you, man.
So then
they should just rest their starters.
We're talking about a team, Sean, that is going to be catching points. And granted, they're catching 10 points against Georgia. So
my instinct was to take their under, but then looking at their schedule, you got to get them to 9 games.
We can have 3 losses. They're favored in 10 games. Basic math. We have a whole game wiggle room.
Yeah. I'm in. Let's do it. All right. So now 2 locks and a future. Kramer, kick things off. 2 locks and a future.
2 locks and a future. All right. So we kind of let's start by fading. Which of these unders did we like the best? You know what? Auburn and Florida under.
Okay. Auburn under 7.5, and Florida under 7.5 for your locks. What about a future?
I think just Let's keep it basic and say Georgia.
Georgia.
If anything, my evaluation of this conference is that a lot more of the elite teams are closer to just above average. And a lot of the teams that people get excited about, I don't know if I believe it. And Georgia's still Georgia. So I'll roll it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly, but Georgia over 9.5 wins. I don't see them losing 3 games in the regular season. And then Arkansas is fun. Let's see. Florida under 7.5.
You know those overs for Sean. He's a big SEC guy.
I am.
Once me right down the middle, 4-4. Sean,
you did a nice job there, splitting it up. Colby and I are in lockstep.
You guys are selling
Colby's
the product.
also an SEC honk.
You guys are selling the product.
That's what I'm saying.
I kind of, because I'm actually going to go Mississippi over. I know I was hesitant at first, but walking through the schedule,
it's pretty fucking easy, right?
No, I know. I'll take the over 8.5 there. You know what? That's you're laying a decent amount of juice. I'll give something more fun. I'll ride with Florida under 7.5. No, actually, you know what? I'll stick with Mississippi. Mississippi over 8.5.
LSU and Mississippi to make the college football. Too many teams are getting in from the SEC now. In my model,
they're cooking the books with the 8-game schedule.
I got like 3 teams making the playoff, and we're only covering half the conference right here. I see why everyone thinks they're so good. Here's what I'm going to do. LSU this is a bonus play. Don't document this, Sean.
Okay.
This is only for ears. LSU, and people are going to love this based on that Coach O interaction with that preppy Alabama fan trying to give Coach the business. LSU makes the playoff, parlayed with Alabama misses the playoff.
Okay.
Probably pay about 4-1.
I'll toss in LSU to win the SEC because I think they at least get to the championship game, and then at 7.5.
Do you know how mad you're going to be when you have Brian Kelly in that big game?
Yeah, I'll roll the dice here. Their defense is improved. We Tigers. Colby, what do you got?
Georgia over 9.5. That thing's automatic money.
I wanted to increase the degree of difficulty.
What's the other lock?
I'll take LSU over 8.5. I think they're gonna get the 9 at least.
You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna make that my other lock. I realize I've switched around a bunch, but LSU getting a 9. I'm in. And what's the future?
Alabama to win the conference plus 480.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Alabama, huh?
Chalky. But it's the SEC.
I'm out on DeBauer.
That's it. When was the last time like a big underdog won the SEC?
Probably got to go back
before Nick Saban.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or was there a year that Nick Saban?
Alabama, no, didn't Alabama get? I'm sorry, Auburn got him one time.
That's right. What year was that?
With Cam, right?
Yeah. Were they?
No, it was like in 19. Auburn got him and sent who to the SEC championship? Or 18 was it LSU maybe?
Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm pulling it up. I got it in front of me.
One of those years, Auburn upset him in
every year is basically Alabama or
in the
Georgia.
SEC championship.
Yeah.
No, go to like 17 or 18.
So you have to go back to
Florida. Florida went.
Okay, but I'm just fun nugget. You have to go back to 2013 to find a year that doesn't involve either Georgia or Alabama.
Insane.
2013.
And of course, Bowser in the chat pointed out no Manning has won an SEC championship. We'll break that down. Does Arch Manning have a chance to win an SEC championship in part 2? Of course, stay tuned for that. Smash the subscribe button if you're looking for individual team previews. You know where to go. The college football experience, and of course.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
It really just means more.
Kramer, let it ride.